Right. So, welcome to all the participants. Thanks a lot for spending time this morning and joining this webinar. So, this webinar. So, without delaying it further, because I understand you might have some further commitments as well. So, without further delaying this, so let's begin with today's webinar. So, today's webinar's topic is how to transform your training coaching business, right? Training or coaching business and adapt to today's digital world. And I will also be adding some introduction about the hybrid model, which everybody is talking about, which is like a hype word. So we will try to dissect what exactly a hybrid model means, right? How the modern training and coaching businesses are actually adapting to this hybrid model. What are the components which a hybrid model has, and how you can take the benefit of that model. So it is going to be a webinar series. This is the first webinar into that series where I will be personally training into various components of how a traditional coaching or training business might take advantage of today's digital world. What are the tools available? What do you exactly need in order for you to go live, in order for you to maintain both offline and online mode of your teaching and training, right? So let's see what is in the agenda today. So we have some really good agendas in the webinar, right? So first of all, we will talk about what exactly is a hybrid model, right? There are so many words moving around here and there over the internet. You should take up hybrid model, but what exactly is a hybrid model, right? Then we will talk about some benefits of launching an online academy. So I have been talking to a lot of training and coaching businesses and even individual educators who are teaching, delivering courses on their own. And sometimes I get to hear that, okay, this pandemic that which is going on is just a few months long. We are already into the second year of pandemic, and there is no sight of how exactly it is going to end. So a lot of people say that, okay, after pandemic, things will go to normal, things will start in an offline mode again. But so what is the benefit of launching an online academy? So we'll discuss some points about what are the benefits, right? Even if pandemic subsides and you get to start your offline training coaching business, still online academy can act a tool for you, as a parallel tool for you to expand your business, and how you are going to use that is something which we will discuss in point number two. Third is again very similar, but we will discuss the importance of launching online today, immediately. What are the importance? What are the benefits that you can grab? That we will discuss. Fourth point is we'll discuss about the trilogy. So trilogy is a very interesting concept. Whenever we launch any edtech business or education business, there are three major components which come into play, like marketing, content, as well as technology. So we will talk about how these three play a role together for you to be able to launch an academy. Then we'll talk about the practicality of all these things. So this is just the theory part which we talked about, of the points, the first 4 points. We will specifically talk about what are the steps immediately that you need to take. How do you structure? Let's say if you decide that you want to go online, you want to launch an hybrid academy, what is going to be the structure? How does an online academy looks like professionally? Because operationally, you will have to have all those components in place so that it's smooth for you rather than launching things in the unknown. So we'll talk about the structure of an online academy platform. How do you actually get started? And finally, we will talk about some of the key considerations that you need to keep in mind while choosing any tool for your course delivery, right? Because a learning management system or an online delivery tool is one of the most important components of a hybrid model or launching an online teaching academy. So we'll discuss some of the considerations which you should have the idea. Maybe you should ask that questions from wherever you are taking the tool, which is going to help you go online. So let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so what exactly is a hybrid model, right? So hybrid, as the name suggests, especially in when we talk about the education business, hybrid actually means the combination of offline and online, right? So imagine your institution. A lot of you are very new to this online model of teaching that you're doing, right? Maybe you had started teaching online using a Zoom license where you're sharing links with your students are coming in. This pandemic is actually what it has taught us is we cannot just rely on one mode of delivery for our courses, right? So this online education has been here for a while, since almost I think 15 to 20 years now. But now is the time actually where all the trainers and coaches are actually able to utilize the benefits of this online. So the hybrid model is nothing but a combination of offline plus online, where your institution using a single infrastructure is able to manage both your offline as well as your online components of your education business. I'll just give you an example here, right? So a lot of the trainers, what they are doing right now. Okay, so let's say you have a place which you have rented where you are, maybe you own the place where you're running your training and coaching business. Maybe you have one class, two class, three classrooms over there. And whenever you take admissions, you create multiple batches. This you invite students to your institute and you deliver the courses online. Sorry, offline in the classroom model. But consider the online as just the exact same setting, wherein online itself, you can also have some multiple online batches which act like an online rooms, where your student, rather than them coming to your institution, are actually able to join your batch directly from the online mode. Now, it can work in two ways, right? Either you are doing in a purely online fashion, right? Or maybe even if you're doing in an offline fashion, you can do a setup where you can broadcast that particular offline session into an online mode. So that it's a mixture of both online and offline, where some of the students are actually sitting in the classroom, seeing you how you're teaching, and at the same time, some of the students remotely, maybe from the same city, or maybe from different city, or maybe even from different state or country, are actually joining your class in a hybrid mode. So this is what is exactly a simplification of hybrid model. Now, how do institutes are using hybrid model, right? So we have been working with quite a number of institutes now, and we are actually amazed by the different types of models which these institutes are approaching, right? So there are three models which into the hybrid models also, which we have seen our customers or the people I work with, people I consult to, they are using. Firstly, they have chosen to go completely online. Now, obviously, see, I'm not just talking about the point of view from a pandemic. The pandemic has actually shut down the actual training, offline training and coaching. So the only model right now which exists is completely online. But we are talking a little bit longer term right now, right? So longer term, what's going to happen? There are going to be three models. First is completely online. Now, there are certain people that I work with who actually shut down their offline coaching institute or offline training business and completely shifted to this online model. They were able to exactly replicate whatever operations they used to run in an offline mode to a completely online fashion. So this is the place where you don't own any physical space in order to give a batches. You only own some software tool where you are managing your business exactly as you used to do in an offline fashion. But the only difference is the student are joining you from remote. You are saving maybe lakhs and lakhs of rupees into a physical infrastructure if you decide to go with a completely online. But one of the most important things which you need to understand here, that which model to choose in the hybrid model also depends upon what type of courses you are taking. If your courses are if your courses are actually towards the students who might require an offline training, right? Maybe because they are into that particular age group, you might not do very well with maybe the completely online model. But at the same time, if your courses are actually targeting the students or professional learners, right, who are in the age group of about 20 or something, who need not actually come sit in the class in order to grasp your knowledge, but can join online also, then you can maybe choose the completely online model. So before you choose which model you would want to continue, you need to have a think about what exactly you're delivering to your students. What are the aspirations of the students that study your courses, whether they will be beneficial with online only, or whether they will be beneficial with hybrid, or maybe they can only be beneficial if you're doing a classroom program itself. So you need to think about that. So first model is the complete online thing. Second is online study plus classroom assessments and doubt session. This second model, which is a combination of online study and a classroom assessment, is nothing like it has a fancy word to it, right? I'm sure you might have heard about flipped classroom. So whenever you hear about flipped classroom, this is exactly what the model which I'm trying to explain over here. So what it usually do is, we understand that the student might not actually need to come to the institution to understand all the concepts, right? There are videos you can make, there are live recordings which you can share, and there are several other things which you can share with the student, which the student at the comfort of his own home or at the comfort of his own device can actually look into that particular material, understand that concept. But then once in a while, you call them to the classroom in order to take assessments, in order to clear their doubts, right? In order to assess where whatever online materials that you have shared, whether the student has actually, whether the learner has actually grasped that concept or not, that is where you can call them to the classroom and see. It significantly reduces the time and efforts which your learner has to put in coming to class every day. They are very well able to utilize your video content, utilize your materials to be able to see what they want to, and whatever doubts they have, whatever assessments they want to take, they can come to the institution and they can give it. So this is what is called a flipped classroom, where you don't spend time teaching a subject in a classroom model, which can easily be done using a video in an online model, and you utilize the class timing in a much beneficial way, which is taking an assessment or clearing up the doubts of the learners. That is number two. And the third is classroom courses with access to the online platform. Now, again, this is also a very interesting model, which a lot of people are used to take before pandemic. And I'm sure that even after pandemic, this is going to be a trend which will be there. So what happens is the learner actually has to come to your offline training, or you have to go to learner to give an offline training. But at the same time, you give them an access to the learning management system platform so that whatever you taught, right, stays with the student even after the class gets over, where he can do the revision, where he can do the assessment, where he can do the doubt clearing, asking you the questions, even after that particular class gets over. So this adds a value to the learner, right? Especially this is also used in a lot of corporate training, which I have seen, right? So the corporate, let's assume you're a corporate trainer. You go to some corporate setting in order to train those students over there. But at the same time, imagine if those employees or if those learners that you are teaching are also able to get access to your course, maybe for a limited period of time, even after that session gets over. That adds a lot of value to the services you are providing to your businesses in terms of learning as well. So this is the third model, which is a part of a hybrid model which one can attend. Before we move on, one more thing, very important. Again, I want to repeat, it completely depends upon what type of courses that you are teaching, which helps you decide a combination or a singular of what model might be helpful for you. I will give you an example. So we were consulting one of the training institute in Pune. They were into architecture courses. So before the pandemic hit, they were paying almost around 1 to 1.5 lakh rupees of rent, monthly rent, to some local area where they used to conduct classes, where maybe 50 to 60 learners might be able to come and deliver. But the pandemic forced them to actually close that institute. They stopped paying rent. They moved to online. But one very interesting thing which they identified is the moment they moved online, the moment they started promoting their courses a little bit more, since it was an architecture related course, they started to get students from even United States, America, North America, South America, even from Australia as well as UK. They started to get students from there who were able to relate to that particular course. So it actually sparked a lot of thought process with his mind, that why am I spending 1 to 1.5 lakh rupees per month on a particular physical setting when I can actually use the tools available at my disposal and even reach out to other geographies. So completely online helped in that particular scenario. But in your case, what works for you is something which you have to think about. Okay. Now, coming to what are the benefits of launching an online academy. So one benefit I already gave you in the example in my last slide, but let's talk that in a little bit detail, right? So there are three main benefits, right? Everybody is going to tell you, okay, if you increase the if you launch your online academy, you'll be able to reach more students. That is all fine. Obviously, that's a very obvious use case of an online academy. The reason why you're launching online academy is so that you can reach out to more people, right? So that is something which is very obvious. But there are three, using the data that we have, there are three important aspects of the online academy which we identified, which you will be able to relate to, and it promotes a long-term benefit out of it, right? So first biggest benefit is there is a less repetition what you do in your training. What does it mean? You get to save 50% of your, this is an actual figure which we talked to a lot of trainers who gave us, they saved almost more than 50% of their time and productivity uh, because of this less repetition which they did. With an example, right? So without an online academy, without the mechanism for you to be able to record your classes and share it later, what happens is whatever students, whatever learners are missing your classes, you might have to do repetition for them, right? Maybe because you have charged for them, right, to deliver the courses. If you don't have the records of that particular classes which you have taken, the same topic, you will end up the same topic, the same training sessions, maybe multiple times to multiple people, or maybe to the same people multiple times. But imagine if you have online setting where whatever training that you're giving, you are able to record that into a proper setting in a structured lesson plan where the students, even if they missed it, are able to come online and watch that particular session, even if they missed it, right? Yes, they might not be able to get the highest of the benefit, which they would have gotten if they have joined you live. But at the same time, at least they are able to capture the 70 to 75% of essence watching that recording online. And the good part is you don't need to repeat that. That is, so it's actually saving 50%, more than 50% of trainers' time when we talk about less repetition. Another example is, right, big suddenly when this pandemic strike, lot of trainers, lot of people had to go online for the first time. They had literally no idea how to actually do the setup in order to record their video, let alone launching an online academy of their own. They didn't have even an idea of how actually to record their videos, right? If they don't have the content, how are they going to share? So what happened is they started delivering courses live. For example, like I'm doing this session right now, the session is being recorded. I'm going to utilize this recording, share it with other people so that they can also get benefit out of it. Now, what they started to do is they recorded the entire lesson plan of a particular course and then converted that into a self-paced course. And maybe at a lower price, they were able to sell that particular course to large number of masses who didn't join their classes online. So this also helps you expand. Once you have this, also helps you giving live training, also helps you generate the content which you can later on deliver in an offline mode, or maybe in a packaged pre-recorded fashion. So this is what we mean by less repetition and effortless content preparation. The third is increase student referrals. And we all know, what if one thing which works in education, one thing which works in scaling an education business is the referrals of the existing students. So this is an actual data again, which we got from our platform that we run, that it launching an online academy resulted in almost 25% increase in the referrals. Now, why does it happen, right? The tools that you use, the students which you interact with, if they're going to like what you're doing, if they think that they have other people in their network who might get benefited out of it, you are giving a one stop, a single, a very simpler way for them to be able to refer your platform to other people, right? Thus expanding your brand, expanding your classes to even other people, maybe in the same city, other city, or even other countries. So increased student referral due to online presence and registrations is also one of the very important benefits of launching an online academy. Right. Now, yes, why it is important to launch an online academy? Again, so we have talked three benefits, that's fine, right? But what does the number tells us? What are some startling numbers which came across, right? So before pandemic, let's talk about before pandemic first. Yes, we know that this pandemic has given a lot of tailwind, a lot of push towards this online segment. So talking about number, what that push means actually. So before COVID, we knew that the offline coaching business was almost a $40 billion industry, right? Which is almost close to 3 lakh crore business, 3 lakh crore worth of business happening in an offline mode. This was before COVID, right? So what does this $40 billion, what does this 3 crore amount means? This is actually the market size where the end user, the learners, the student who are trying to take the course is paying an offline institution in order to take this particular course. So that's a combination of the cash which is being spent in an offline coaching business before pandemic. It was close to 3 lakh crore. This is just, I'm talking about India right now. And the online. So if we talk about the online education market was just $2 billion, which is so lesser than what the offline coaching business used to be, which is just 15,000 crores. And this was as projected by the KPMG and Google report. If you see this pie, this red part is actually the offline coaching, and this blue smaller part was the online education market, right? But this pandemic added a tailwind to it, right? So now let's see what happened after COVID. After COVID, the offline coaching business immediately shrunk to less than 30% of what it was before. If it was a $40 billion market, it already got reduced by 30%. If you see the pie, this blue part has significantly increased, and online education market has increased 4 times at the same time. From $2 billion market, it became a $8 billion market in terms of Indian rupees. From 15,000 crores, it went to 60,000 crores. But at the same time, we need to realize one thing, right? If this online education market increased 4 times, where exactly this increased online spending is going, right? Where is it going, right? If people are not paying for an offline coaching, if people are not paying for what they used to pay before, so and at the same time, if online spending has increased, where exactly is this going, right? And the answer is pretty simple. There are some huge companies online who are spending lakhs and lakhs, millions of dollars in order to attract these particular students, right? For example, there is Upgrad is there, Byju's is there, Unacademy is there. So many Goliaths are there who are spending millions of dollars, who are taking advantage of this particular pandemic time, and they are trying to get all the users, all the hands of the users, which they can get. In short, they are utilizing this particular scenario in order to take over the business of the other people which existed. So is it actually possible to beat these Goliaths? That's the question which we have been pondering upon, which I think a lot about. Is it actually possible to beat these larger companies in certain way? And I think it's 100% possible, especially in terms of the training and coaching business. That is 100% possible. How an institution can carve its space in the online pie is the biggest question, which is what this webinar is going to answer. Education and teaching is influential led and personalized. The first and the most important thing that you need to realize is when we talk about training, it's not it's not where a single type of teaching is going to influence all the students which is there, right? We all know that the education and training is very much personalized. Maybe if you are a trainer taking some courses, you might connect to, let's say, 10,000 students in a certain way, but maybe a similar trainer giving the similar courses might not be able to attract those 10,000 students, even though they are delivering the same courses, because it's too personalized. When we talk about from the learner perspective, if I am able to connect from one trainer, it doesn't mean that I'm going to connect to the same trainer or other trainer in the similar course group. So it is very much influential led and personalized. What does it mean? That means every institution, every trainer has the opportunity, given the right set of tools, in order to influence a specific set of market pie. That is the first thing which is there, right? Second is online education can be hyper localized. It is not an Amazon of selling of commodities, right? So when we go to Amazon, when we talk about marketplaces, why Amazon is growing significantly, why marketplaces, apart from edtech, grow significantly. The reason for that is I'm selling the same exact product, commodity I will call, which any particular person can get from any particular shop nearby, right? If I'm selling some shoes on an Amazon, the same shoes are going to be sold by any other local shop as well. So it doesn't make a difference. So if I'm getting what the same thing is being sold on Amazon, I'm going to prefer Amazon in order to do that. In short, I'm going to prefer uh, the marketplace model in order to do that. But in online education, it acts completely different, right? You can actually create your own brand in a hyper local area, or maybe in an online space, as we discussed, where you can deliver your courses in your own special way. That is the most important part, right? So these are some of the points, which further strengthens the point that there is a way for trainers, there is a way for educational institution for them to be able to carve its space in the online education pie. It is not an area where few Goliaths can actually take up the entire market, right? Right. So coming to the trilogy part. So as we discussed, any education business, you need three important things in order for you to go live, or in order for you to launch an online teaching academy. First is the content, right? So content bit, it takes time to create content. We definitely understand that there are several ways to create content, and it usually takes a lot of time. You have to have the right set of equipments ready for you to be able to record the videos and all those things. Content takes time. But at the same time, what we discuss right now is delivering live classes, delivering online training is actually an automatic way of generating the first level of content. You can always work on that content. You can always add up animations. You can always add up your brand and make that content better. But everybody has to start somewhere, right? So rather than getting stuck in what equipments do I need in order to start generating my content, the best way to get started is start training online. Your content is going to get generated automatically. That is number one. But we'll talk about technology in a while. Give me a moment. Right. So we'll talk about technology in a while. But let's talk about the third bit. Once, let's say, you have the content ready, you also need marketing for this, right? You also need marketing. But we need to understand that for both content and marketing, the most important bit and the first step we need to take is we need to have a technology where we can actually host a content which we have developed. We can actually use that technology to be able to market. Marketing is not simply where you just simply launched an advertisement and you start reaching out to prospective customers. Marketing using technology is what modern companies are following nowadays. Imagine you have a platform where you uploaded your courses, where you have specific landing pages for each of your courses, where anybody who is coming to your particular website is able to understand what you are delivering online. If you have the technology, your marketing is going to help you in a much better fashion, right? Because now the end customer having multiple options, they need to have an informed decision. So your marketing has to be clubbed with technology, which is already hosting your content for this entire online academy to work in synergy. So this is what we mean by trilogy, right? Just one thing except the others is not going to work. You need to work out a combination of content, technology plus marketing. Okay, so these was all the theoretical part. It's all fine, right? But what are the next immediate steps that we need to take in order for us to move forward, right? So there are four steps, which usually gets involved into launching an online academy, right? So first thing is you need to have an online presence. You need to have an online presence where even if you're doing marketing, even if you want to expand, you need to have that link. You need to have that online address where you can land your particular students, where you can land your particular students so that they can see what exactly you're delivering to them. Online presence actually happens in two ways: a mobile application and a web portal, right? And the third way in which you can create an online presence is sign up for a marketplace. For example, let's say Udemy is there. You can very well go to Udemy, create a course, create a sign up, create a teacher account. It's free of cost. That is one way of creating an online presence, but that is a less recommended way. We will talk more in detail in the next slide. But there are three ways: either you have your own mobile application, own web portal, or you sign up with a marketplace. Okay. Second way is you set up infrastructure and technology. Now you have an online market presence, but now you need a technology and infrastructure. You need a tools where you can create your lesson plan. You need tool where you can set up your live classes, right? And maybe the infrastructure, for example, simple webcam or tripod, right? Which actually this setup actually for live classes costs less than 15,000 rupees, right? We have helped multiple customers of ours spend less than 15,000 rupees and get started with their live classes. So that's a very simple setup, the software as well as the physical part of it. That's the second step. The third step is once you have an online presence, once you have uploaded your course curriculum, the immediate next step is to open the registrations, right? So there is no need for you to create online forms, Google forms, other type of forms. Once you have this technology tool in place, you can simply just link your payment gateway to it. You can open your registration. People can come to your course landing page. They can see your demo content. They can pay online, maybe partially or fully, and they can get access to your courses. So that's the third step. And the final step is once you do this, you start promotion, right? Now, very important bit over here. Why the promotion comes last, and that is a very, and you should not start your promotions right away, because what I have seen is you need to first understand how optimized your technology is, right? Before spending a lot of amount in your marketing. I've seen people spending initially from day one, they start setting out a budget of 50,000, 60,000 rupees per month on digital marketing, only to realize that the conversion rate was not as high as requested, right? The reason is there's a high bounce rate. If you don't have a well optimized technology, if you don't have a well tested, right, you need to do multiple experiments before you can start promoting a lot of your courses, spending a lot of money into marketing. You need to take an experiment out of that. You need to understand what your end customer is going to connect to, and that is when you actually start promoting. So what I have seen, and this actually works wonderfully in education business, because when you are a trainer, you have that immediate set of users which you can immediately connect with. You have Telegram groups, you have WhatsApp groups, maybe you have your own YouTube channel where you already have a similar set of following that you have. Once you set up your technology, once you optimize that, you open registrations for your known groups to begin with, right? And you utilize the technology tool to understand how those particular people are actually interacting with your course, how much time they're spending on your landing pages, how much conversion rate you have, what might be small tweaks in the technology, customizations in the technology which you can do so that you can increase that conversion rate. That is something which we need to analyze, and then we need to start the promotions, digital marketing, promotional offers, offering of demo classes, and all those things is come. So these are the four simple steps. And why I call it simple is something which I'll talk about in a little bit while. But these are actually very simple steps which you can immediately take in order to launch an academy. Okay, so let's go a little bit more technical, a little bit more in detail. I gave you the four steps, but I would like to elaborate this setup infrastructure technology. How does this online academy structure looks like? The second point, we will go a little bit further in detail, right? So consider there is a platform, there's a common platform, right? One of the biggest problem which trainers face today is they have to sign up for multiple tools when it comes to setting up this online academy platform, right? You hire, for example, you hire an external team who actually helps you create a website. You have a vendor for that. Second is you need something where you connect with payment gateway integration, and then you integrate that payment gateway. That's another vendor. Third is you need a learning management system. You connect with some learning management system provider. That's another vendor, right? Fourth is you connect with Zoom or you connect with some live classes provider so that it's you can help, it can help you provide the live class. So there are some 5 to 6 different types of software tools which you have to manage with multiple vendors, which creates a lot of hassle. If one thing doesn't work, then your entire structure falls apart, right? So you need to also understand that where you can get that unified, well integrated platform, because unless and until you have a well integrated platform, it's going to be a nightmare for you to be able to manage that, right? Sooner or later, it will become that it's, the chances of giving up becomes very high if you are not able to handle that. So this is how a general platform LMS infrastructure looks like. The LMS infrastructure is the backend which connects with your website and application. So I might use some technical words over here, but that's fine. I mean, for some of the people who understand technology, who want to understand technology, can utilize this particular thing. So you have a backend infrastructure where you create your courses, where you create your batches, where you set up your live classes, where you add your administrators, sub administrators, teachers, counselors. All that goes into your learning management system infrastructure, which has the front face in the form of website and application, right? So for your end student, it's just your website and application which sees all those things. But for you, you have the administration panel where you add multiple trainers, where you have multiple administrators, where you have multiple teachers and counselors sitting into a single platform. Now, using that particular front, website and application is what you use in order to do your digital marketing, in order to do your self-paced courses, in order to do your live classes, and in order to do your, if your training business requires parent communication or something like that, you can do your communication bit as well. The single most important point I have for you right now is all this should be working in a common unified environment. If you have to deal with singular different tools or products, it's going to be very difficult for you, right? You do digital marketing, the content, the data comes from digital marketing. Now that digital marketing content, the leads has to be uploaded somewhere. You need to create batches again. Then when the time comes, you need to share Zoom links. It's going to be very troublesome. Everything should be automated. You need to target for the automation for the longer term in order to scale the business. Scalability is very important, right? It's not just you want to teach just 50 students. Maybe you want to increase from 50 students to 100 to 150 to 200. How do you scale that? Is something where you need to keep in mind when you're launching an online academy. All right, so let's go, practical cases now. Now I'm going to specifically give you how to get started, right? This is just the theoretical part again, talking about steps, what you need to take. But where do you immediately get started? Where do you start your research, right? A lot of people have been doing researches on systems, tools, what model to take, how to take it for months now. Months have gone by. The pandemic situation has worsened, but there are a lot of people who are still not able to start. So this following slide is actually give you some ideas which from my experience works, from my experience what doesn't work in the long term, right? So the number one approach which anybody can take is the marketplace approach. I'm going to give you multiple approaches now, trying to give you a comparison between all of them so that you can take an informed decision after this particular week, right? I'm not I'm just going to give my inputs into this particular thing. So first is the marketplace approach, where you tie up with Udemy, you tie up with the likes of Unacademy, right? Where they have a singular platform. You get your own panel where you upload your courses, but Udemy and Unacademy is something where your courses maybe get sold, right? It's a good as a side revenue, right? What's my personal feedback for you is it's good as a side revenue, but it's bad when you're trying to build an education business and student following. If your aim is to actually build a sustainable education business for longer term, having the marketplace approach might not be the best choice, which is there. Why I have a personal opinion with this is because first and the most important thing is you need to work with the rules which the marketplace has created, right? Your students are actually their students. That is, you need to understand that you are creating the course, you are the creators of your brand, but you are giving your students to the marketplace. The student is actually not coming to you. It is, sorry, I'm sorry, it is actually coming from your name, looking at your name on the marketplace. But ultimately, when that sign up, that student data juice is actually going to the marketplace. So long term benefit you don't have, right? You lose ownership to your content, right? One of the example I'll give you today, let's say in the marketplace you launch a course, you have a lot of students coming into place, but tomorrow another similar course is being launched, right? There are hundreds of people who can launch similar courses what you have on marketplace, and maybe they got better rating for some of the other reasons, and your students can easily switch from your particular course to that particular course, or maybe the upselling, they can take further courses from that other particular trainer. So it becomes impossible to be able to build a loyal student following, right? To build that connection with your student base, that is getting difficult in the marketplace, right? Finally, so that's some of the 4 points, 4 to 5 points which I have, why I consider it's good as a side revenue. You should have a marketplace model so that you can continuously keep on getting students who can interact with your basic content. But it's not good if you want to build a sustainable education business where you are able to do an upselling, a lot of upselling, and where you are able to build your own student community, loyal student community who actually connects with you, who actually thrive on your particular courses. The second approach is technical stack, right? Technical stack is very famous in India. I'll put my hands down and actually I say it's very famous in India, specifically in India, because we believe that we can build our own systems. It's very easy. It's very easy to fall into this particular trap that it's very simple to actually build a system which we can then start utilizing to deliver our courses. We don't need any third party, any person to help us. We can actually hire some developers and actually build the technical stack on our own. Hands down, this is the worst way to get started. And I have practical examples why I'm actually advocating that this is the worst way to get started, right? How, what are some of the ways in which this technical stack works, right? People actually build their WordPress site and they integrate LMS plugins into that. They hire some expensive, they hire some team in order for them to get build the system from scratch, right? One thing what you need to understand here is, yes, building technology might be easier, but the most trickiest part is how are we going to maintain that, right? It is not just that you build the technology stack, you purchase your own server, and then you deploy your technology. It's about the long term. You know that technology is constantly changing, month on month, year over year. Market scenarios are changing. Today there is pandemic, tomorrow there is no pandemic. Maybe 2 years later, something else might come. So if you have your own technology, you also definitely need to have your own big technical team who can keep a track of all these changes happening in technology, all these changes happening in marketing, such that they can keep upgrading your system. Otherwise, your systems will become obsolete, and ultimately you won't be able to utilize and capitalize on the spending which you have done. So maintenance and continuous upgrading becomes a very big challenge when we go about our own technology stack. And this is where I consider this as well. So we have certain people come to us who literally spend 30 to 40 lakh rupees building their own mobile application for online course delivery, building their own website, only to realize that once they launched it, maybe their technical person left the company, or maybe some of the other reason they are not able to now upgrade that technology, and their clients are not happy about it. And the only choice they have is to join hands with an external third party company so that they can immediately provide them the technology for them to be able to run their business. So entire 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs goes into the dustbin right there, right? The only question which we need to ask ourselves right now, in a world where there are subscription systems available, where there are experimental things available which we can try, why actually we should spend a lot in building our own technology? So that is where the second approach is not something which I personally prefer. Right? So two approaches we covered. One is the marketplace. The second one is building your own technical stack. The third approach is what we advocate, what Edmingle is trying to promote is the all-in-one software as a service platform. Okay, I think hands down it is the best way to get started. Right, it works on a subscription basis. You only pay what you will use till you use it. A lot of you are starting online education, online training for the first time. We do not want, however big offline training system you have, it doesn't matter, right? Maybe you already have thousands of students in an offline uh, on offline courses, and maybe you're generating significant amount of revenue in an offline, right? But when you go to the online, the rules of the online are completely different than what it is for an offline mode. We don't know how we are going to launch, we don't know how we are going to promote, we don't know yet how the end user is going to interact, how the end user is going to accept the particular online offering. So it doesn't make sense for you to spend exorbitant amount of money upfront in order to build your system. So the best way is you find a subscription software where you just subscribe maybe for a monthly or a quarterly plan to begin with, right? They give you a ready-made software. We give you, a way to even upload your own brand such that it feels like it is your own software, right? You can make it your own. You can subscribe to a subscription-based software. You can make it your own, and you can start, validating your theory that you always had wanted to validate for your online training. And yes, from there you can go. So what is an online software? So basically, as first point is it works on a subscription basis. Secondly, it's a self-hosted solution. You don't need to worry about what server to take, what server capacity, what type of student inflow will be able to handle, whether we'll be able to handle 1,000 students, 5,000 students, 10,000 students. You don't need to worry about that because it's a already hosted solution. It's the companies or the subscription software providers headache to worry that however number of students you get, you have they should be able to handle it. Second benefit is all under one roof, right? Bunch of tools glued together to make everything work in sync out of the box. If you have your own system, again, integration becomes a big challenge. But you go with an all-in-one platform, like already hosted platform. You have already things which are integrated, works. You just need to sign up and get started. It's as simple as that, right? And third is it is consistent with your branding and connect with your target customers, right? If you keep on changing your technology, if you keep on upgrading your technology, it somehow loses consistency with your brand, right? Brand building, uh, one of the first rules of building a brand that you need to be consistent. You need to be consistent with the message that you want to take to your target customer. If you keep on changing that message, if you keep on fluctuating your brand positioning, you will not be able to build your brand, right? So hosted platform helps you focus on how you can be consistent with your own brand, right? It is not where a marketplace is having full control over your brand, right? Tomorrow, if somebody else comes, you might be nobody on a marketplace. But when you have your own in one system where you launch your own particular branded online course delivery platform, it helps you be consistent with your brand. The end students are able to connect with your brand. They become your loyal customer. Maybe if they like one course, they will refer it to 100 people into their network. Maybe if they like one course, they will also purchase more courses from you. It gives you the ability to do the upsells as well, having your own particular system, right? In short, in a nutshell, you focus on teaching, you focus on your brand building, while everything else is being taken care of, and you don't spend an exorbitant amount of money upfront to be able to get this system. Right? So these are the three approaches. Again, summarizing: marketplace approach, good as a side revenue, but bad if you want to build a sustainable brand in an education segment. Technical stack is the worst way to get started. It's very simple to think that we can actually build our own technology quickly, but it doesn't work that way because in long-term maintenance, you end up losing more money than you wanted to save at the first place. And the third, the most recommended one is the all-in-one software as a service, which the benefit as I explained. Right. Now coming to what are some key considerations while choosing a LMS platform. Okay, so now you decided, okay, let's say you go ahead and decide that, yes, what is this all-in-one SaaS platform? What are some of the things I need to keep in mind while choosing the right technology partner for us? So this is what uh, are some of the pointers for this. Number one question is, does it give you a website setup or ability to connect with your existing website, right? I'll be talking from an integration point of view because I strongly believe that unless and until there are multiple systems which work together in a sync, it might be very difficult for you to manage your operations in an online course. So number one question is, does it give you a website setup or an ability to connect to your existing website? Right? A lot of these tools give you a basic thing where you can launch your website even writing a single line of code. Do they have that? If you already have a website, build that particular system, build that particular LMS platform can connect seamlessly with your existing website, wherein your students are actually coming to your website and are able to log in into that particular LMS. So do they provide this? You need to ask that question. Second is, does it provide you a mobile application under your own brand name, right? Your courses, you might need mobile application. Now, mobile application is usually it's on a optional basis, right? If you feel that your students are better off accessing your courses on the go, you should choose for mobile application. But again, whether that mobile application is being provided under your own brand is something you need to think about, right? Finally, third point is, does it have an inbuilt payment gateway, payment collection management, right? One of the most important thing you will have to, if it's an online mode, you need to connect payment online. Whether you need to, whether that particular system helps you integrate that payment gateway so that whenever the course sales is happening, automatically the payment is getting collected, automatically the student is getting access to your courses, automatically you are able to track where the payment is coming, where the payment is not coming. You're able to send them reminders. You're able to block their classes and content if the payment is not getting completed. So this is all the integrated part. One of the major problems which I have heard from my trainers is, how do I track, how do I stop access to the students from accessing my content if the payment has not come for a long period of time, right? It becomes difficult if you have to manage it manually, where you have to go to your payment gateway, check who has paid, who has not paid, and then coming to your LMS platform to mark the non-access or something like that. It should happen seamlessly. It should happen automatically. So does it have an inbuilt payment collection and management system? Next point is, do you have full control over your money or is there a transaction fee? Very important again. A lot of these systems which has come over the last 1 year, providing you system for a very cheap amount. They'll say that, okay, 4,000, 5,000 rupees per year and the system is yours. But you need to ask whether you have full control over your money over there. Are they charging any transaction fee for whatever course sales that they're doing? If they are, then again, it's no better than a marketplace, right? If they're charging transaction fee. If you feel that if you want to have full control over your money, ask this particular question at all. Next point is there an inbuilt content security? Very important, right? You worked hard for building your content, right? The reason why you don't want to upload it onto your marketplace is because you know your content is then public. Reason you don't want to upload all your content on YouTube, because you know that everybody can download, everybody can see YouTube content. So you want to have content security as well. Ask the LMS provider, ask the secure person that, is my content secure? How secure my content is? Can somebody download some plugin and try to download my video? Is that possible? How do you guys restrict that, right? This is something which is very important, which you need to ask. And finally, next point is, what ability does it provide for marketing your services? Again, very important. So TRILOGY, if you remember, now you have the content, you have content security, now you have technology where you created your courses, linked your payment gateway. How do you market your service, right? Because for marketing also, you need technology inbuilt. Does it have an offer system? Offer works a lot of times when you want to deliver, sell your courses, you want to run some offers, 50% off, 60% off. Does that have an inbuilt offer system? Or again, that is something which you have to do manually. That is, you need to ask. Does it have a student referral system? If you remember, one of the three key points, the key importance of why benefits of launching online, which I covered previously, we saw a 25% increase in the referral. So does your LMS provider, does your system you're using provides an ease to your students to be able to refer your courses, refer your platform to other people? Because that is the best way to scale with the immediate network, having the network effect. So does it have a student referral system? Can your student experience your teaching before paying? Very important point again. When somebody comes to a website, if they are interacting with your brand for the first time, there is no way they are just simply going to pay upfront. They might want to see what are your services. They might want to experience your teaching. They might want to experience your content before they actually take a decision, conscious decision that this is a brand which I want to get associated with. So does your system provide you the ability to help your students get the demo content before they make a purchase decision? They're providing a demo content also helps you build that relationship with the end user where they are not just thinking that the brand is just here to collect my money, but they're actually showing what they're going to provide. Okay, we have more considerations. So I try to cover maximum of considerations because all these questions you should definitely ask wherever you are trying to purchase or wherever you're trying to put together an online academy too. Next is, does it have the ability to handle international students, right? If your course has the potential to go international, why just restrict your geography to India itself? If you have the capability to collect international payments in multiple currencies, why to restrict yourself into just Indian rupees? So ask this question whether this particular LMS platform can connect with international students as well. Next point is, does it help you manage your sales, admission, and fee operations as well? I think most of the part we covered into this as well. But the point here, what I'm trying to make is, can the sales be handled? Can the manual admissions can be handled? Can I do fee operations if I want to send some fee reminders, if I want to restrict some course access because of fee? Does that happen? Right? Next point is, does it have a feedback mechanism? One of the most important way you can improve your online courses is feedback, right? You should have an inbuilt thing where your students are able to give you feedback to your courses, honest feedback. It doesn't mean that you need to promote that particular feedback or automatically that feedback is going to come onto your website. Nothing like that. It is for your own internal feedback where you create some questionnaires for the students. You ask them, did you like the course content? Did you like the way of teaching? Did you like the trainer? Did you like the facilities that we provided? Ask them, right? So that you can act on them, improve that to further improve the conversion rate. So does your LMS platform have an inbuilt feedback mechanism is very important question to ask. And couple of others, does it help you easily connect with your students? How fast you can connect with your students? Does the system works even in low internet connectivity? Especially if your students are from tier 2, tier 3 Indian cities, this is very important question you need to ask. A lot of the online conferencing system doesn't work well if your internet connectivity is lesser than 3 mbps, 4 mbps. But ask, what is that internet connectivity which the student needs to have in order to operate your system, right? So these are some of the key considerations, and I'll be sharing this list with you after this webinar and even this entire presentation. So there's no need to. I will be giving you this particular points, right? So just a quick introduction to the Edmingle platform now. So now we talked about why it is important to launch an online academy. What are the different approaches you can take? And the third approach, which we recommend, is the all-in-one subscription platform. That is where Edmingle platform comes into picture. So what we are trying to promote, what we are trying to build, what we are trying to help our educators and training institutions is to be able to get that all-in-one unified platform where everything works right out of the box, where you can focus on your training, where you can focus on your teaching, while everything else gets taken care of, right? So this is how the Edmingle platform looks like from the infrastructure point of view. You get your website, you get to set up your website and mobile application, most importantly, under your own brand name. You get the ability to build your course, which is very easier to maintain as well, right? You get to link your payment gateway, you get to market and sell your courses, and you get to engage your students all under a single platform, all under your own brand name, right? We provide complete white label solution for this because we strongly believe if you want to build your sustainable education business, you need to give a feel to your students, to your followers that you care about them, you have the best technology available with you to be able to reach them, to be able to train them, to be able to help you get better prospects for their future. So this is where Edmingle comes into picture and it helps you. It's very fast to launch. It's easier to maintain. You don't need to spend a lot of amount every time new things come in. We give you auto upgrades. It requires minimal investment and it helps you build your own particular brand. We, in the last 1 year, in the last 1 to 1.5 years, we have helped more than 4,000 training and coaching businesses go online, utilize this all-in-one, well-integrated platform so that they can focus on teaching and build a good sustainable edtech brand. And the best part about this is 80% of them are the first time edtech users. We are actually very proud about it. It's not out of these 4,000, actually the 80% of them are the first time edtech users. They didn't even know what does a website mean for them. what can a website do for them? What does the marketing happen? They were very much hyper localized, working with a few companies. They were using the edtech for the first time, and we are actually proud that the system helped them understand how the nuances of online training works, and they are now doing wonderfully well in the online segment as well. Right. So I think that's it from my side. If you want any further information from our end, how we can help you, these are some of the contact points that we have. You can note down the number. The number can be shared with you in the chat as well, or you can call us as well. Or if you want to experience how this all-in-one system works, go to our website www.edmingle.com and feel free to create a trial account to see how things work. Our support team, our account management team is going to help you understand whatever I explained to you in this particular webinar, so that you don't need to worry about doing everything on your own. You can take help from us, that's for sure. So that's it from my side. I think we'll take the question answers if there is any from your side. Uh, so keep posting your comments. I think my team is going to answer them on the chat itself. Most of the questions, a lot of questions are coming in. So once again, thanks a lot for joining this particular session. Really wonderful spending time with you all. Looking forward to talk to you once again. If you want to connect with me personally as well, really happy, really excited to help you, to help you with your training business go online. My personal email ID is gaurav@edmingle.com. You can please email me at any point of time, and I'll definitely make sure that I get in touch with you and help you resolve those particular queries. So thanks one and all. Thanks for joining this. See you for the next time. And yes, there are going to be more webinars like this. Since I said that it's the first webinar in the series, I will go deeply into each and every segment which we covered in future webinars. And we will send you the notifications for that as well. So till then, I think thanks a lot for joining. Really enjoyed this particular session with you.